So, who was the first person who kind of lit the spark for you? Who motivated or inspired you to do this?
Um, I would say two people. I was told my grandmother, late grandma, had a lot, was very passionate about social service. She used to do a lot of projects. She used to always
Right,
give charity to her. And second, being Sadhguru mentioned, learning about Dada's ideals of social service.
right.
I
Oh,
feel
how
these.
lovely. So, Bhavish, Eco Youth, as I know, is built on three pillars: people, planet, and prosperity. How do those pillars actually show up in the work you do on the ground?
So not every project has to connect to all the three pillars
I
at once.
see.
Some of our events focus on one or two instead of all the three. For example, our partnership with Limb for the Limbless and Sanskrit Learning Center focuses on people and prosperity because we are helping them lead a better life in some way or other. When we did tree planting, it was pure environmental planet. And then we had angel wings, where we use upcycled materials such as shower curtains, towels, and cloth, and made sanitary pads. So that reached all three pillars of people, planet, and prosperity.
Right. So, Bhavish, you've lived, studied, and worked in Dubai, Singapore, India, and Indonesia. How was that global exposure shaping your identity and the way you approach leadership?
I think when you travel to such countries, you can see a whole different way of how people do business, how the cultures are. In some cultures, giving gifts is considered normal, some it's not. So I would say learning on how different cultures work. We got to see different initiatives in some like Dubai. We got to understand that even though it's a very hot country, there are special trees like ghaaf trees that retain water, that help the soil. So that's when we did um, tree planting. Singapore, there were a lot of shelters for animals. We did dog shelter cleanup. So I would say understanding different cultures, different ideas really shaped us to know what EcoYouth is. We gave us ideas on what can we do, what initiatives would work in what places.
So, Bhavish, I'm very impressed by your program for the Limbs for the Limbless. It has changed so many lives. Can you share one story from this initiative that has stayed with you personally?
So there's so many stories because when you go, I always tell my donors to come and witness donations live because even though we record all our donations and upload on Instagram, seeing the donations live impacts you in a very different way. I've been working with Limb for Liveless, mainly with EcoYouth, since COVID time, and I've seen stories of people like as young as 1 year olds to up to 60, 70, 80-year old patients. They who have had maybe birth defects, lost limbs due to accidents, car accidents, motor accidents, train accidents, even diabetes. There are two stories that I will never forget. Till today, it still stays with me. There was this one, um, it was, he was around my age, a guy, young guy around my age, who lost his limb, I think, due to diabetes or cancer. And he loved soccer, passionate
Oh,
about soccer, be like Ronaldo and Messi. And he says that my aim after getting this limb is that hopefully I can go and play soccer at such a level with an artificial limb. And that stuck with me. That despite his condition, he has hope that with his new limb, he might be able to fulfill his dreams. And that touched me.
that's
There was
amazing.
one more situation where a young kid, 1 year old kid, was born out of a limb. And thanks to a generous donor, we got her a limb. And she was running like, nothing happened. It's as if they never lost a limb. And that's the beauty of it. We go through a lot in life and we complain. These patients have gone through things we can't even imagine. Yet When we meet them, they're so full of hope, full of life, always smiling, and that's beautiful.
That's amazing. That's such a wonderful, inspiring story, Bhavish. Young people are often passionate but can lose momentum. How do you keep youth motivated and engaged in sustainability and social impact for the long term?
So that's a very tough question, I will say, because we're running for maybe 6, 7 years now. I've helped a lot of youth. And it's not easy to keep the youth engaged, especially today's youth. But I believe that youth want to see change, not just hear about it.
Mm,
Many people who I know will donate to will donate to the causes after seeing the impact, not just reading about it. The impact, seeing the videos of how the patients' lives have improved, how they're walking, how they're so happy they're running, motivates them to give back. Which is why in EcoYouth we focus about experiences. I get my team to come for the donations and witness them live because when they first experience it firsthand, their whole mindset changes, their eyes
mm.
open. It's also about, in a way, sometimes connecting what they like to the initiatives. Like in Singapore, we have this initiative called Cleanup.
Right.
Today's youth love dogs and cats. So one way to motivate them to do social work was like, guys, let's go to the shelter, let's help them clean up, and see how can we help them. Another way was recently played forward in partnership with Bridge Builders and JSSC. Youth today love sports, soccer, basketball, badminton, and now paddle and pickle. So sports was one way to get the youth together for a good cause.
Yes, I can understand that sports is a great way to keep the youth engaged and keep them uh, part of the sustainability projects. That's great, Bhavish. What a wonderful idea with the play it forward. If many young change makers feel that they don't have resources to start, what's that one piece of advice from your experience you'd give them just to take the first step?
My experience would be, don't think you're on the when we started Eco Youth, we had nothing. We were just a bunch of students wanting to make a change. We had no ideas, we had nothing. We just thought, okay, we want to make a change, but how? So I would say that um, you can get resources. Resources is not actually a big issue. I would say start small and start now. Your biggest resources are your families, your friends, family friends. When I started Live for the Liveless partnership with Eco Youth during COVID, I remember telling the person in charge that I think we'll be able to get maybe 10 limbs at max. Like, don't expect we can get so much. But things changed. So we did at least, I think, 35 limbs. All because of the support of family, friends. We got donations from around the world. Name it Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore, Panama, Dubai, Australia. So resources, when you start off with your friends, family, once people come to know about what you do, they will automatically come to you. Like we partnered with a few organizations, including Indian Women's Club. And ever since then, we have some of their members who come back to us every year, giving us the donations. So it'll take time, of course. Nothing happens overnight. You can't expect, okay, as I did every today, this month, this year, I'll do 100 limbs. Start small and grow gradually. We took
Correct.
5, 6 years, and finally we got 300 limbs donated after 5, 6 years. So it takes time, but as you do, once you get into it, you learn a lot. I started agriculture as a passion, not experience, but as I grew and as I continued it, we learn a lot.
Right. I think that's
So
a very valid thing about just taking action. not waiting. And even like you shared that you had nothing, and your group of students who didn't even have a a roadmap, but you managed to successfully provide limbs for the limbless. I think that's an amazing, inspiring story, Bhavish. So, but taking on from there, if you had unlimited resources, zero limitations, what dream project would you bring to life?
If there are the resources, um, I guess we would start maybe a center, or we'd have a building or somewhere where we can provide, we combine technology. Technology has become a very big thing in today's world. Everything, every few months, something that is growing up, is something new is coming up. About social media, when we grew up, it was only Facebook. Then came Instagram, Snapchat, and now TikTok. We didn't have AI growing up, and now AI is a big part of everyone's lives. So maybe we'll have a center of innovation where we can combine technology with our initiatives. Like we can have limb for limbless, but technology advances, better quality limbs. We can have a school, like be part of the SLC also, to help the cerebral palsy children. Maybe find a way that, advanced learning for them, advanced learning, or some kind of maybe medical science to help them in their condition a bit.
Oh, wow. So, what you want to do is basically combine everything that you've done earlier into an innovation center. I think that's a wonderful project to dream of and to work on. And I wish you all the best with this dream, Bhavish. And I hope you have your own innovation center which connects all the things that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for talking to us. Thank you for
Thank,
sharing your journey with us. And thank you for sharing your dreams with us.
thank you,
Wishing
ma'am.
you lots of success. Thank you so much.